Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back, Maverick family. Great to have everybody here. Right off the top, tragic news out of British Columbia. Tonight, more than a dozen ground and air ambulances have been dispatched because of a school bus crash on Highway 97, north of Lac La Hache in BC's interior. This happened just a short time ago. Just getting information in here tonight about this. Breaking news. Now, all the children have been accounted for, apparently, but details at this point very thin. We do not have much in the way of information. We do know that parents have been instructed to go to, I want to make sure I get this correct, to South Caribou, RCMP, instructing parents to go to the South Caribou Recreation Center. There, a police representative will meet them and keep them updated on the situation. Police are asking people to please not go to the accident scene. What we know at this point is that we have reports of a school bus crash involving grade 7 students returning from a field trip in Williams Lake. Their bus rolled down an embankment. It seems like it is an extremely serious situation. Again, details very thin. 11 ground ambulances, 7 helicopters dispatched to this school bus crash. Now, BC Emergency Health Services apparently indicated that it was called out to the bus crash, then received a second call telling them that a person had been struck by a vehicle at the same location. So we're following this for you the best we can tonight, but because it's not in a major metropolitan area, it's a little difficult to get information out of there, but we will be getting information through the evening, I expect. There should be some sort of update. Paramedics are on scene, apparently providing emergency medical treatment. And this is, again, a developing story, so we will continue to follow this tonight. It occurred around 1 o'clock this afternoon at the intersection of Butler Road and the highway. This coming from RCMP, 100 Mile House RCMP. And the highway is shut down to all traffic in both directions so that first responders can attend the scene, administer to the injured, if any, and do their work safely without risk of being struck by oncoming traffic. So again, parents urged to go to the South Caribou Recreation Center, and police will have someone attend there and keep parents updated. And again, people are being asked, urged by police to not go. Do not go to the accident scene. The truth is, you will not get through anyway because the highway is blocked. You will not get any information there. You will sit in a traffic jam. And that is all you will be able to do. You will just contribute to the problem at this point if you go to the scene. So the best thing to do is to go to that recreation center, that community center, and police will update people there. Also tonight, I am going to take you on a tour of a small tent city in my hometown for the homeless. It'll open your eyes. It opened mine today when I was down there doing the work. John Scotty Rimby is out in Western Canada. It is the evening of Game 6 of the Stanley Cup playoff final between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. He will update us, give us a preview of what's in store for tonight's game. We also have Donald Trump talking about releasing all of the John F. Kennedy assassination files. Where have I heard that before? Vladimir Putin talking about the West wanting to ramp things up and initiate a war, I guess. Also, Rolling Thunder, an extension of the Freedom Convoy, part of the freedom movement in Canada, set to take place this weekend. A news conference held in Ottawa today. We will bring that to you. A mobster in New York City decapitated by a truck. I'll tell you about that. Also, a family of 4 found dead in a community not far from where I'm at right now in southern Ontario. We'll have the details for you on that. We also have this shooting in an Arkansas grocery store, 2 dead, 8 injured. And the Ontario Science Centre is being closed immediately because the roof might collapse. So we have that and more coming up right here on the Maverick News Channel. Do not go away. I shall return.
Maverick News. The world is watching. Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Let's start with the shooting in Arkansas. Let me make sure I have my notes up here. Okay. So we have 3 people, 10 wounded at this shooting at a Mad Butcher grocery store in Arkansas. A gunman apparently opened fire at this store today, killing at least 3, as I said, several others wounded. It happened around 11:40 a.m. Central Time. This is a small town about 70 miles south of Little Rock. 11 people wounded, including the 3 who died. Some of the 8 surviving were in extremely critical condition when taken to hospital. Shooter critically wounded by police. This shooter has non-life-threatening injuries, has been taken into custody. Too early to tell or to determine, according to police, what motivated this shooting. And people who are there say that they heard gunfire, they heard shattering glass. They say that this gunman came in, just started shooting. A bunch of the people in the store made it out the back door. It appeared to begin in the parking lot. Some shots were fired at cars in the parking lot. Car windows were shot out. Witnesses say it was like watching something out of a movie. Indeed. Now let's go. We've got a clip here now. Bring it up for you. This is sending shockwaves through the entire community. And sorry, I've lost my place. Too many tabs open. There we go. Okay, here's the clip here from the police news conference.
Director of the Arkansas State Police. We're going to give a brief statement of facts, not answer any questions at this time. First, this situation is secure and it's contained. There are no active threats to the community. At approximately 11:38, 911 calls were received that there was an active shooting situation at the Mad Butcher grocery store in Fordyce. Law enforcement responded immediately and exchanged gunfire with a lone suspect. Unfortunately, we can confirm that 11 innocent civilians were shot and 3 of those are deceased. 2 law enforcement officers were injured in the exchange of gunfire. The suspect was also shot and taken into custody. The injuries to the officers and the suspect are not considered life-threatening. The remaining civilian injuries range from non-life-threatening to extremely critical. The investigation is in its early stages, and we have no information or no more information that we can release at this time. The Arkansas State Police will be the lead investigative agency, and all media inquiries should be routed through our communications department. We do anticipate a further news release later in the evening. I've been in constant contact with Governor Sanders. She's committed any resources needed to aid in this investigation or any support needed for the community of Fordyce and Dallas County. To reiterate the total numbers, we had 11 civilians shot. 3 of those are deceased, and we do have some that are critical. We have 2 law enforcement officers that were shot. Neither of their injuries are considered to be life-threatening, and we had 1 suspect that was shot. Is in custody. His injuries are also not life-threatening. Just on behalf of state police, the law enforcement community, all public and first responders, it's tragic. Our hearts are broken. Our prayers, along with Governor Sanders, the entire state of Arkansas, will be with this community and with those affected victims. Thank you.
Okay. So that's it. Now, hang on just a moment. I'll need to take a break. I'll be right back.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching. The world is watching. On TV, the entire world is watching. On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
Okay, also tonight, in the town of Harrow, Ontario, this would be about 45 minutes from where I'm at right now, here in southern Ontario. We have provincial police investigating the deaths of 4 people. They were called to a residence on County Road 13 this afternoon around 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The causes of death, and the identities of the deceased not yet confirmed by police. Investigators say there is no threat to public safety, and they are, of course, reminding the members of the public to be aware of their personal safety, but say there isn't any threat to public safety. It seems like a circular statement. Strange. However, the mayor of the town of Essex, or the community of Essex, which encompasses Harrow, says that the victims were a man, a woman, and 2 children. So it seemed apparent that we're dealing with a family. But right now, police say they can't release many details. This, again, another developing story. Autopsies will be conducted at the Centre of Forensic Sciences in London. That is about an hour and a half from that location. Essex County OPP Crime Unit directing the investigation. And the OPP Forensic Identification Services is on scene in conjunction with the coroner's office. Police are saying that residents should expect to see a lot of police cruisers and support vehicles in the area for at least the next several days. So over the weekend, likely into the early portion of next week, while they continue to investigate, collect evidence at the scene. This another incident that has sent shockwaves through that local community now. Police are asking anyone with information that may help them with this investigation to contact OPP at 1-888-310-1122 or to call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. That's 1-800-222-TIPS. Or you can visit the website at ontariocrimestoppers.ca. So that's all we know about that at the moment. I don't expect we will get any new information on that this evening. Maybe over the weekend we will learn something more about it. Now, all right, let's do this. Let's go for a tour, okay? This, I got to tell you, I knew because I ran a few weeks ago a video that I produced for an organization in town that helps the homeless. So I'm aware of the problems to some degree in our community. But I'll tell you, I wasn't prepared for what I found today. I moved to this community probably 25 years ago, maybe longer. I can't keep track of all the years. When I moved here, you would not find a homeless person on the streets. I never saw homeless people on the streets here. Where I lived and grew up in London, just down the road, about 100 kilometers from here, an hour's drive. Yeah, you would find homeless people there. When I lived in Windsor, in the other direction, 1 hour, you would find homeless people there sometimes. Not a lot, some. In all the years I lived there, 10 years. I was familiar with the downtown in London. I'm familiar with what it's like in Toronto. If there's a fair bit of homelessness in Toronto, you'll find people sleeping literally on the sidewalks in Toronto. And that was the situation 25 years ago, 30 years ago. So it's been a problem. It's a big city. You get those kinds of problems. But I'll tell you, what I experienced today was it just unacceptable. This, in my view, and I'm editorializing here, in my view, this is Trudeau's policies, crappy economic policies that don't work. This is socialism at work. This is corruption. This is a lack of caring. This is progressive woke policies that have gone awry. This is honestly liberalization of drug laws that have undermined the fabric, torn the fabric of our society apart. I'm going to run this for you. Never have I seen this in this town. I used to refer to this little community that I live in. It's sort of a medium-sized city. It's a smaller city. 50,000 within the city proper. And then we're surrounded by a lot of farmland. Huge expanses of farmland here. And it goes all the way from Lake Erie to Lake St. Clair. It's the size of a small province, actually, a maritime province, is how big this municipality is. Another 50,000 roughly living in the rural areas. So you have a total of 100,000. They amalgamated a bunch of small towns and made it one big municipality. But in the city itself, it's only 50,000 people. It's like a small town. It really has that small town feel. It always has. I used to refer to this place as Mayberry North. Like the Andy Griffith Show. Tight-knit community. Everybody knows everybody. Even though it was a city, it felt like a small town. Beautiful. Nice little Thames River running through it. Quiet. Get anywhere you want to get in 10 minutes. It's not a 15-minute city, it's a 10-minute city. Okay? Because you can get any place you need to get within 10 minutes. Everything you need. It's fantastic. Some traffic, but you never really get a traffic jam. Not around here. Unless you're waiting for the school buses to load up at the end of the school day. That's the way it's been around here, like forever. I remember sitting in the mayor's office. A long time ago. Bill Erickson was his name. And we had a discussion. And he said, and I agreed with him. People here, he said, so many people want this city to grow. We want growth. We want it to be big. They want to make it like Toronto. And I agreed with him. He said, it's people need to appreciate what you have. This is it's like a small town, and that's the advantage to living here. You don't want to make it like Toronto. People are trying to get out of Toronto to come here so that they don't have to live with all the negatives of living in a big city like Toronto. And I was like, yeah, I get it. It's a great place to live because it's a small town. You have everything you really need. And if you want something bigger, like a Detroit Tigers game, it's 1 hour that way to the border. Anyway, I digress. That's what made the city great. The other thing about it that was great was low crime. Not a lot of social problems, some, but you didn't see homeless people. You didn't have people begging outside the pharmacy in the local strip mall like I see almost every day now. And you sure as heck never would have seen a tent city for the homeless. Now, in this community, I've been aware that these things have been set up now really for a couple of years. They've really started to take hold a couple of years ago. I never really went down to check them out too much. I've seen them from a distance. I never went to really talk to the people. But when I was working in mainstream media, I had regular connections with people on the street. And I still know some of the people who would be, you would consider them to be sort of, they're not really, they're it's the developmentally disabled, some people with mental health problems, people on the streets, but they were never really on the streets in this town. What I'm saying is, the poor, the really poor, the disenfranchised, the people who have challenges in life, I've always had connections with them all my life, in my career as a journalist in the bigger cities. I used to go over to Detroit on weekends and just drive around in the burned out areas and just talk to people. Other people are like, don't go over there, you're going to get shot. I used to go over on weekends just to experience it, just to go and talk to the people so I could understand what they were going through. Call me weird. I used to do it all the time. Not every weekend, but quite often. And I would just drive through. I used to go over, sometimes I'd take photos of the old burned out buildings. There's an old auto factory over there. It's all burned out, demolished, half demolished. It makes for really cool pictures. I've been in the building. It's something else. It's a sight to see. I've got videos. I'll show it to you sometime. But I would just talk to the people on the streets. But here, never would see that. Now, with this Trudeau government, everything has changed. It broke my heart today, what I saw. And the problems this is creating in this community, unfathomable. I have to tell you, I'm holding all of these politicians responsible for this. I'm holding our mayor responsible for this, the premier, and Justin Trudeau. This is unacceptable. I'm going to run this video for you now. We start off in downtown Chatham, Ontario, Chatham-Kent. I'm in Chatham proper, right in the downtown. This is just around the corner from the police station and City Hall, the municipal building. Shame. This is a street. I used to have an office on this street right here, and an upper office studio. Not there anymore, above the Chamber of Commerce, years ago. So I know exactly, I'm very familiar with this. Tucked in, down this side street, walking toward the police station at that other corner, and then back in this parking lot. Here we go. How you doing? Good. You stay here? I'm taking care of it. No problem. Thank you for your help.
No problem. As long as you get people's permission.
I'll do what I need to do, and you can stay over there, away from me.
People's permission, because I wish not to be on camera.
I'm not putting you on camera.
Okay.
So you just stay over there and we won't have a problem. Understand? Stay over there.
I mean, if you want to know something,
Yeah.
you got to pay for it.
Got to pay for it?
Yeah.
I see. What do I have Don't to pay for to interviews. talk to you?
I just share my whole life trouble for.
Yeah, like why do you have to stay in the tents? I mean, it's doesn't seem fair. Doesn't seem right.
No, it doesn't. If you want to have a conversation with me, I'll take it for it.
Okay. Well, how are you doing today?
Good.
That's good. What's your name?
I go by Smokey.
Smokey? I'm Rick.
Okay,
It's
you
very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Yeah.
How come you ended up here?
Well, because my house, the place I was in, they sold it, and the people who bought it said that they're moving in, and they chose not to move in. They lied to me. So I had to sign a buyout, and now it's been a year, and they still haven't moved in yet. So they lied to me and made me move out under false pretenses.
How long you been here?
4 months.
So you were here when it was cold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How do you cope when it's cold?
So if I'm not here, I'm sleeping in a doorway.
Yeah. Pretty rough.
Very rough.
Have you always lived in Chatham?
I grew up in Blenheim.
Blenheim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of the same community.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm amazed. I didn't even know that this was here until a couple of weeks ago.
So I've been here for at least 3 months.
Yeah. Do you not have opportunities, jobs?
It's hard to find a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I had my license taken away from the FRO because of back child support for a child that I haven't seen in 15 years.
Yeah. How can people help you guys? What do you guys need?
Yeah. How can people help us?
What's that?
You can take me to the States.
What would be in the States?
That's where I need to be. Otherwise, as soon as I get across the borders a little bit,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the weapons maker there that's being held hostage here with my kids. That's why the borders are closed. I thought everybody in Canada knew that. Did you not know that?
No, I didn't know.
Okay, well, you can get me to the States and this will all get better.
I see.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm not supposed to tell anybody that, so
Right.
good luck with that recording.
All right, thank
You
you.
might die.
Okay. Mental health Thank you. I appreciate the warning. No, I'm not going to bother anybody. I'm just doing my thing.
He's a little loopy.
Yeah, it's okay. A lot of problems with drugs, I guess, right?
Absolutely there is.
Yeah. What kind of drugs are the problem here?
Everything. Everything and anything.
Yeah. Coke, meth.
Yeah, coke, meth,
everything.
fentanyl.
Yeah. Have some of the people here died?
Oh, there was an overdose yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy survived, but luckily.
How old are you, Smokey?
42 next year, or next week.
Yeah, you got kids or anything?
2.
2? How old are they?
20 and 18.
Yeah, did you used to work? Did you have a job?
Oh yeah, I was working in construction for 17 years until I was in a car accident. And I was in a car accident in my early 20s, and I guess it was 26, and then the hospital put me on opiates, and I've been struggling with them since.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've got like a prescription drug problem, yeah.
Well, I started with oxys, and then they put me onto a pain specialist.
Yeah.
He up and closed his practice.
Yeah.
And then moved to Hamilton and said, "Here's 3 months script. You're on your own."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm so sorry that you're having so much trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever talk to your kids?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It took me 15 years to find my son, but
yeah. If you had a message for the city or for the Prime Minister, what would you want to say to them? Give them a voice.
Be nice to get into some type of, even a motel room or something. Get off the streets, because this is a horrible living. You know, and the shelters ran like a damn jail.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it takes forever to get into the shelters, so.
Now, do you have your own tent here?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you show me?
Second one there.
Take me over and just show me what you got going on.
What is this document for?
Well, I've got an online program, and I'm just trying to help out. So did you buy the tent yourself?
No, it was actually I gave him.
Somebody donated that to you? Yeah. Have you, if any city councilors ever come by here, or?
The city workers come here all the time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do they do? Like, do they help you, or they just monitor you?
No, they come in and
Anybody hassle you? No, they
there's
just,
a lot of people that bring them food donations and stuff like that. But it's
Yeah. yeah. Any charities helping you out here?
No Hope Haven.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's good.
Yeah. You guys have enough to eat?
But if people bringing food donations, yeah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, no.
Yeah.
Because I've lost probably 30 pounds in the time that I've been out here. 40 pounds.
Yeah. You look like you could use a little bit more nourishment.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of health problems you have? And do the doctors see you? Do you get medical care if you need it?
I've had pneumonia 3 times in the last 6 months. So, yeah, it's not easy.
Yes. Yeah. Any solution to this that you see?
Not unless somebody from the municipality steps up and helps out.
How would they do that? Because it seems to me like the biggest problems are drug use, right? So people can't function enough to like be gainfully employed, plus lack of opportunity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so
See, there is functioning addicts out there, though.
Right.
Because I was a functioning addict at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But me falling off a roof was what ended my career, so.
Pretty rough, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is, I'm like, when I moved to this town, I never saw anybody ever living on the streets here.
It was never,
nothing.
5 years ago, it was never like this.
Right. What has changed?
Ever since the rent prices have gone up. When they took the cap off the rental prices, that's when everything went to hell.
Right. So if I went down to City Hall and I talked to the mayor, what would you have me say to him or to any of these politicians or people in the community to help you guys out?
Put a cap on the rent. It's too high. None of us can afford rent. That's the problem.
Right. So that's the immediate thing is you guys need some sort of access to housing.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, people,
right.
On welfare, they don't even get enough to pay rent.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing. They're only not even getting $700 a month to live on.
Yeah.
And people on ODSP are getting $1,300. Like, how do you pay rent? And then on top of that, eat.
Man. So when did all this get set up here?
When the government took over many years ago, before 1952.
No, but
yeah, that's
we're talking about the actual tent city.
That, but the homelessness started a long time ago.
I would have to say, I'd have to say 6 months ago. At least 6 to 8 months ago.
Yeah, because I'd never seen this here before. You know, like I come downtown, right? But I just never noticed this here, right? I used to have an office right over there, and like this, never seen anything like this in this town before.
Yeah. And see, there's people even sleeping underneath the bridge.
Yeah, I'd heard that. Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, I ate a box of crap dinner a while back.
Can I talk to you too? Is it okay?
Sure,
yeah. What's your name?
Randall.
Randall?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How long have you been here, Randall?
I'm not here, but I'm homeless as well.
Okay.
I didn't want to stay here because, well, it's a rough area. It's plain and simple. It's a cesspool. You know what I mean? It just breeds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My thought was if you get them and spread them out. You know what I mean? Like one there, 10 miles away. You know what I mean? Like that would help things because then you're not just it's like a jail cell here. You know what I mean? Like stealing from the you can't. There's no steal from that person. Stealing. Everybody's constantly stealing from everybody. You can go down there for a cup of coffee and leave your stuff here, while there's somebody going through it before you even come up the stairs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so I live way out there, so nobody knows where I am, and that's perfect because my stuff is still there when I get there. If I were to hear, I'm in a basket case.
Yeah.
I started a business a month and a half ago with a lawnmower and a weed whacker and a blower on the back of here. I got 10 customers inside of a week, right? For the whole season. I never got my stuff. I mean, like, and my bike got stolen 3 times this year. I painted it pink. Maybe then somebody won't touch it there.
Yeah,
Yesterday alone, I had a pair of rollerblades stolen, and all my clothes stolen. My girlfriend's clothes were stolen. Unbelievable. There's no loyalty or anything around here. It's just you're as good as your dollar, and then when your dollar's not, you're taking a seat. You get a seat, and like I said, we're $11,000 below poverty. That's not right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, we're homeless people. We need help. We need financial help, not just mental help, because there's not they give you 30 minutes in a conversation. Well, what are you doing? Oh, I'm still living on the street. How do you think that's going to, a couple of people question, and you're at the door again.
Right. Well, they get their government fee for their appointment, and then it's like next. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hate to use, man, I shouldn't maybe even say that, but there are immigrants in it. My nanny and papa was an immigrant. They worked at Stelco and stuff like that. The immigrants are getting treated better or not? It was not only that, but through the churches, right? I know this for a fact. Back in Hamilton, I just become homeless the last 3 years, right? I've never been homeless in my entire life, but I noticed that we bring these immigrants in, which is fine, more power. But they're sitting beside me in a pew, right? I'm homeless. They got off the plane. They got an apartment, fully furnished, not with used furnished, brand new furnished. The cupboards are full. The fridges are full. They get a bank account. They get a credit card, and they get and within 6 months they're surpassing me.
And not only that, some of these Muslims that are coming, they're getting $500,000 for a husband and wife and $250,000 per month.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's quite that, but I don't think that's accurate.
I do know that our church has paid for them for like a year and a half or 2 years of everything. I mean, and I'm like, and I can't even. I get a box of groceries out of my church, but that's it. I said, why can't I? I said, why is my childhood trauma any different than theirs?
Yeah,
I've been used as a child and everything else.
Like you've lived here all your life?
I don't help. I've been here since September last year.
Okay.
But look at this though. Look at all the Muslims that have moved here. They're all driving either Mercedes or.
You don't see any. I'm not. You don't see Chinese Muslim.
But I mean, the immigration for you guys is not the immediate problem. For here, it's
the government's treating them better,
right? So what would you want to like? I'm trying to give you guys a voice here today.
So get us into poverty. I mean, poverty would be one thing, but $11,000, you get $13,000 a year. How do you survive on that?
Welfare or disability hasn't gone up in how long?
Or they give you $40 or something every 2 years.
So how much do you have to survive on?
Well, so here's the thing. If they're only giving you $13,000, right?
Yeah.
And your rent is say $1,100.
Yeah.
And $200. So that is what, $2,400 a year to live on. If you use 11 on your,
we're in a bachelor program.
It just doesn't work out, And the government, we're a throwaway society, right? If you're not giving to the government, right? We lost our. Back in 1952, they sold us as a commodity, right, to the states, right? They didn't have nothing except for people. That's why we have a birth certificate.
So where are you picking up all that information?
It's fact. It's fact. You can look it up. You can figure out that through our birth certificates, we were sold under the water law because we came out of our mother's womb, right? We were sold.
I know the information.
States, right, because we had no money, right? So we were sold. We're on the stock exchange, right? But when you're not giving to the government, you're a liability.
So again, what would you say to the Prime Minister or to the Mayor or to the Premier?
They know about us. They just don't give a rat's ass. They know about us. It's not like we just popped up an hour ago. This has been going on for a long time.
And they don't care because this is population control. People dying all the time.
So what?
They're dying. They don't give it. There's probably people that die for a fatty overdose or whatever.
And people are overdosing because of childhood traumas. Fathers are abusing them, the mothers abuse them, sexually abused, stuff like that. That's why we're here. And we use drugs so that it gets rid of the pain. We're in pain, and then you give us nothing to live on. Right, so we're in survival mode, 24/7. I mean, like,
they wonder why the crime rate has gone up so much in town.
Then they put thousands and thousands of dollars worth of cameras to watch us do nothing. I mean, I don't live here, right?
Right there on that pole.
That's a police camera.
There's cameras right there on that pole.
I see. Yeah.
Those are live feed right.
Yeah,
to
you know,
the
they probably charged to put them up there. I mean, and we still get updated food. 2017, I got a box of Kraft Dinner from. I didn't realize until after I ate it. I was so hungry.
Thank you.
I looked at the box.
Appreciate that, Smokey.
17. Like, it's just, you don't wake up and say, you know what, I want to be an addict. They use it for pain, serious pain. They're in pain here. You know, survival mode all the time, 24/7. You know what I mean? If it's not looking for a home, you know what I mean? It's wondering if you get kicked off the land. You know what I mean? You know, many times people come in here. I've come in here, cleaned up. I don't even live here. Swept everything up, you know, through different ministries. Swept everything up here, cleaned up, without a pay. You know what I mean? Like,
so do you have charities that help you?
No,
nothing.
I don't go to the food banks anymore because I got sick from. You know what I mean? And just, you know, when food banks get food from dead people, you know what I mean? Mom and pop died or whatever, and the kids want to watch food, they throw it in the food bank. You know what I mean? It's been in their cupboards for, you know, who the hell eats chickpeas and kidney beans, you know, as a staple? We don't. You know what I mean? So we throw those things away. And, you know what I mean? And they give us chocolate and stuff like that. It gets rid of the craving for the dope. You know what I mean? But they're still in pain. When you have a headache, you take a Tylenol, it goes away, right?
Yeah.
Well, same thing with these guys. They're pain from childhood traumas. I was sexually abused by my mother's second husband. Right? I never told anybody until I was 50. You know what I mean? And then but I'm still carrying it with me, and I can't get rid of it. So when I put my head down at night, it's right there. So I want to get rid of it. So I take it, you know, whatever I do to get rid of it. You know, and then in the morning, it's back. You know what I mean? So what do? So you get rid of it.
So what kind of drugs are the problem?
They're the solution. They don't have any coping medicine. We weren't taught properly. You know what I mean? And we weren't taught properly as some of us. You know what I mean? And a lot of these are very talented people. I mean, very talented, and the most nicest people that you ever want to meet. They will help you out in a snowstorm where, you know, well, the body's been down the street. We're not going to come in.
But I mean, they've fallen through the cracks. They've become addicted, right?
They're from childhood trauma that they've never been dealt with. There's a guy, Dr. Gabor Mati, right? He's on YouTube. He's from Vancouver, and he's dealing with all the people in North Vancouver that are right. And he tells it the best. Well, we suffer, and we just don't trust, right? I don't have any trust in men, and that is what took place. So you don't trust. So it's hard to trust the Lord, right? These people don't want to trust it because it doesn't come fast enough. You know what I mean? Like they want a miracle now. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, but if you keep them in this camp and like this, or you're gonna put them all together in another place, it's gonna still be the same thing. They want out of these effing tents. They don't want to live here. You're all haunted in those tents right now. I mean, it's really. You wonder why I'm spread up and down all naked. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, but if you're living here, you're bound to get your stuff ripped off. I had my bike stolen 3 times. I started as a business a month ago. I put this bike together. I've had this bike for a long time. Well, I put a trailer behind it. Right? I put a wag. I bought a brand new mower. Right? I took my disability money. I bought a brand new mower, a weed whacker, and a leaf blower. Right? I put it in there. I started getting customers the first day. I was out of debt. You know what I mean? And within 2 days, I got ripped out. I went for lunch and I left all of it out. And I went in for lunch. You come out, it's all gone. And the cheapers, creepers. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm so sorry.
It's not your fault, man. But they needed, you know, they sold the product for half of quarter of what it was worth.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I would have been willing to buy it back off of them. You know what I mean? But yeah, it just, and when you're living this, like, that's what you're going to get, man. You're going to get bad dope. You're going to get, these people I've heard stories where people have overdosed. Right? And the people what they're worth, right? They go through their pockets. They go through their pockets before they even Narcan them. I mean, like, that's the mentality. I mean, it's just, who goes through somebody's pockets, ripping off while they're dead? You know what I mean? Like, animal. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta separate them. You can't leave them all in a cage like this. You know, you keep them like this, that's exactly what you're gonna get. You know what? If you put them in tuck on an island, you're still gonna get this. You know, they're all hurting. They're all trying to survive. And we all got the similar stories. Similar story. There was an article just a couple of weeks ago about a gentleman, similar story to mine, and so on and so forth. He was under the bridge. He's still out of the bridge. All they did was take a piece of paper, put his paper in there, as in news. Nobody helps him. Yeah. You know, the people say
there's this place, there's the one by the river,
I don't know.
Under the bridge, right?
I'm not sure. I don't hang out.
Yeah, yeah.
But my point is, if you say, "Oh, I want to help," but not in my backyard. That's the thing. Not in my backyard. We don't want these people in my backyard. You know, it brings down. It's like we're people.
Right.
We're people, man.
I just wanted to say something. Thank you very much for talking to me.
Is this gonna go somewhere?
Yeah, I'm going to run it on my show. What's that?
There's a place right across from Rona, Tent City right across from Rona that just burned up. Somebody set fire to the other day.
They set fire to it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, if you go to Rona,
Yeah.
where the side parking lot is,
Yeah.
and go right to the back left corner, then follow the path.
Anybody get hurt?
No.
No.
There's tents back there too.
Yeah.
You can go back there and have a look at it. We can see all the damage. There's people living back there still.
Well, that's for another day, I guess. I'm so sorry that you're having a rough time. I hope that I gave you a voice today, and I hope people who can help hear you.
I hope so, because it's ridiculous. I can't, like I can't live another winter outside. This winter probably shaved 10 years off my life.
Yeah.
I now finding out that I might have lung cancer because of being outside and having pneumonia 6 times in the last year.
Thank you very much for talking to me.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, I'll be back.
Okay.
All right, take care. Thank you very much for talking to me today.
I haven't watched TV in a few years, but you have a show or something? Or?
Yeah, it's online. It's called Maverick News. I used to work at CTV.
Okay.
I live here in town, and I had no idea this was even going on. So something's got to be done to help you guys. So
money, perhaps, you got to fear.
So somebody's got to help you guys out.
I love the immigrants, my nanny and a couple of them.
Yeah.
But it's not fair that they surpass us. You know what I mean? Like, we should all be equal.
Yeah.
Just equal. It was fine with me. But to be that far under in the poverty, you can't get out of it.
Yeah.
You couldn't.
I'm not sure. Maybe tonight. But thank you, guys. All right, I'll be back, guys. You take care, okay?
Yes, sir.
What's that?
You'll come back with the bearer of bad news.
Oh, I hope, I don't know. I don't have the power except for this. So, but this can make a big difference. So, thank you. What are they doing about it? Nothing. They're doing nothing. They put up cameras so they can monitor the problem, so they can see them get into trouble. Boy, if I was in a position to really do something, I'd be tackling that one right quick. You know, in my mind, it wouldn't even take a lot in this town to get that under control. I know exactly the things I would do. I'll be talking about it more in the nights ahead. I'm appalled. These politicians, they don't care. A lot of them. Most of them, maybe all of them. The ones that say they do, they don't have solutions. I hear it all the time, and I'm so sick of these people blowing hot air. We have a housing problem, a homelessness problem. So I always hear this around election time. We have a homeless problem. So you talk to some person who wants to run for any office, and you say, what are you going to do about that? And they say, well, we'll get some money and we'll build some houses. That's not a solution. Not to the homeless problem. That doesn't solve anything. Throwing government money and building houses doesn't solve the problem. all you're doing is moving the problem into a house. Or I hear politicians say, wannabe politicians, people who are already in positions of power, they'll say, well, we'll take this building that's vacant and we'll turn it into we'll just put the homeless people in that. Again, you're just moving the problem into a box. For the most part, they don't have solutions. They've made this problem. They've actually created it with their stupid policies over the years. And I've seen it happening in real time. The economic policies, the socialism, the promises of free things, the liberalization of drug laws, making anything and everything available to people, CBC encouraging drug use, telling people that LSD is good for you, that smoking weed is healthy. It screws with your mind, man. You're not in a place of reality when you're stoned. And the other things that I've seen just in this small town develop over just the past year with regard to drug use, appalling. No wonder we have these people in these positions of trouble. Drug problems. That's one of the main issues. Thank you, Justin Trudeau. Taking opportunities away from people, literally taking opportunities away from people. This group gets this group gets special treatment, that group, no, you don't get to apply for these jobs. This group does. Making people hate themselves, hate their country. No pride in anything. No moral compass anymore. Lies, lies, lies about live any way you want. Party it up. Smoke up, inject up. Get all stoned up. Look what happens. This is where it leads. This is the worst of it. And what are they doing about it? Nothing. I knew that it's been, I've known about it for a while. This really, I guess, started to take hold in this town about 5 years ago. And I know in bigger cities, it's a bigger problem, but it's here now too. And if it's here, it's like, it's way out of control. No excuse. And yes, I hold our mayor responsible. I hold our councillors responsible. I hold our provincial politicians. I hold them all responsible for this. Pass the buck. I'll tell you something right now, boy, there's a lot that can be done. You don't just build a box and stick people in it. One of the biggest problems is that all the support systems that used to be in place, a lot of them have just been dismantled. There used to be places that they would keep people with mental health issues, developmental disabilities. They would, there's community living, which is a great program because people who are capable of functioning that have developmental disabilities, they're integrated into the community. And so they become productive members of the community, but they have self-worth. They have pride because of those programs, and they're able to live in the community. But when you have people who are addicted to drugs and become so addicted that they're no longer functional, and then you just stick them out on the street, or if you have people with mental health issues, and I think you saw some of that on display right there in this video. And what support does someone like that have? None. So is it good to just put them out on the street? No. It's not good for them. They're a danger to themselves and others because they can't really take care of themselves. There used to be a place called the Southwest Regional Center, and I know that people will say that was like a terrible place and they treated the people terrible. I'll tell you something. They bulldozed that place, took a lot of those people with mental health issues, and they just stick them out on the street. And then they expect the cops to deal with it. They put the cops in a really bad position. How do you deal with that? Somebody with a mental health problem. How do you deal with that? You just throw them in jail? They don't get real help there. Might get abused because they're vulnerable. That's not how you do it, folks. That's not it. That's not the solution. And these people, I listen to them election after election. All just build some houses. Yeah. That doesn't solve the problem. I would take, if I was the mayor, even if I was just on council here, just at the local level alone, I'd tell the premier to go stuff it. I'd tell Trudeau to go stick it. And if you don't get the funding you need for support programs, you just find it out of the municipal budget. It wouldn't take much to get these people some darn help. Because probably in this town, you've got, about 10 tents there. There's at least 2 other areas that have similar setups. So you've got maybe 50 tents in this whole city. So you take those 50, what do you have? Maybe 100 people? 100 people. What's it take to get these people help? I would get all the people who deal with these folks, every agency, every charity, everybody that works with these folks on even a daily basis. I would put them all in a room and I'd say, I want your input. Get me some solutions. And I know things that I would do immediately. I would find a vacant building and I would set up a residence to get them off the street and immediately. I would have it staffed with people who can provide real support. And I would use the laws that are in place to get them off the street. And I'd use a little bit of tough love, and I'd make sure that they got off the street, but got into a place that was warm in the winter and cool in the summer, and where they got professional support. Drug-free, no drugs allowed, no safe injection site, no free drugs. Screw all that. Clean them up. Then give them opportunities. Get some work opportunities where they can build work experience. Give them self-worth again. Give them self-pride. Give them something to live for, something to work for. Get them busy. Don't just give them a handout, give them a hand up. Get those tents the hell out of there. It's not good for the downtown. It's not good for the merchants. It's not good for the people who live down there. And it's not good for the people living in the tents. They're getting sick. They're literally freezing to death in the winter and boiling to death in the summer. Dehydrated, malnourished, emaciated, on drugs, losing weight, getting colds, flu, pneumonia, spreading I don't know what other kinds of diseases, sharing needles. The drug problem just gets worse because they're in so much pain. You can't leave them there. This has to be nipped in the bud. If this is allowed to continue and fester and grow, it's like a cancer. It has to stop now. It should have stopped 5 years ago. But they've done nothing. Nothing effective. Everything else has been lip service. And to put those cameras up, I get it, but what good do they do? All that they're doing is you've got the cops with a security camera. The cop shop's like a block away. So they put the cameras up there. So what? They can get video evidence of them when they break into cars to steal stuff so they can support their habits, or when they beat each other up and then you go over and arrest them. Like, hey, you're just making a video of the problem. And I'm not criticizing the cops. It's not fair. to dump this on the cops. That's not really what they should be doing. But they can be involved and they can be part of the solution too. I've dealt with these folks for so long, over all my life. I don't know, I'm a magnet for it, honestly. I kind of knew this stuff was on, but today I decided to go down there and check it out. And I just walked in and I was appalled. Shame. Shame, shame, shame. Something's got to be done. Yes. Cindy's saying they get taxpayer-funded drugs in BC. Yeah, I mean, screw that. You don't get somebody off drugs by giving them more drugs. And we've had people on the show with that kind of mentality too. Screw that. I'm sick of it. Your BS. I'm going to have more to say about this. I see what's going on. Enough is enough is enough, and somebody's got to speak up about it. I'm editorializing here, but so be it. We need to get this country back on track. We need to clean up our towns, our cities. We need to clean up my town. These progressive, left-wing, woke, crazy, weirdo, stupid politicians, I'm sick of it. Lunacy, stupid policies. And when I tune on the government-funded CBC and I hear documentaries about LSD is good for you, it's a hallucinogen. It makes you hallucinate. You're no longer in the realm of reality, and it screws up your brain forever. Screw that. I want people grounded. I want people in a place of reality, dealing with real stuff. And as soon as your brain is screwed like that, you become susceptible to all kinds of suggestion, and you're watching all these freaking weird videos. Next thing you know, they got the brain-eating lizards coming in your ears, and you believe it, and they're going to eat your brains, and they're going to teleport you to Planet X. Oh my God. And then you end up down there. Screw all that. I'm so tired of it. How dare you? Look what you've done. Look at what you have done, the damage you have done to people. Shame. I'm going to be right back. Dragon's in the back room, waiting in the wings. She's going to join us in just a moment. I'm livid. Shame on you.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.
Okay, let's bring Dragon in. He's out of the Dragon's lair and back out down the street. What's going on tonight, sir?
Well, actually, I was listening to what you just said about homelessness, and actually, I'm just living right next to one of the downtown epidemic. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what it looked like. As you can see, there is a beautiful restaurant with some terrace around here. Mm-hmm. The street is crowded with a lot of people. Actually, here on St. Catherine Street, it's part of the street is pedestrian only, so you cannot move on your bike only if you're next to your bike, and no car here around. So basically, this is what you get. So you got some beautiful restaurants, some beautiful stuff around, and as you can see around here, if I can show you these guys here, well, you can see how that problem is growing around here in Montreal also. You know, it's like, yeah, as much as I'm gonna walk on around, you're gonna see that there's gonna be more to look at. I'm sorry, sir. And there's people who's dealing around. So as you can see, it's a crowded part of the city, but there's a lot of thing going on around here.
Don't do that, bro.
All good. You don't see. We don't see. So people are not really eager to be looked at also with the camera. So that's kind of a, yeah. It's one of those days in Montreal where you got another side of the problem. You had some good people around there that was happy to, answer the questions that you asked. And I'm sure right here that if I pass around and try to ask some question, as I did try last year, actually while I was homeless and trying to blend into that crowd, if you will, in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, people wasn't eager to answer my question or be part of that documentary I was trying to pull around. So
yeah,
I was kind of frustrated to be kind of against the wall, but I'm not giving up that idea that one day I might be able to show what it is, because right now, as you can see, I can show that. It's you got a blend of people around here. You can see by the manner who's what, who's not. And yeah, it's kind of sad because I will be honest myself. I was kind of brought down by the system in a way, although the system gained, right? But there's so many people in trouble right now that you cannot provide that solution to everyone. And there's no solution for one or everyone. I would call it's a case by case. One person will need something else that the other one doesn't need. So, I mean,
yes.
And
exactly right.
Our government should probably take care of the problem with the pricing of the rent nowadays, because it's totally out of control right now. Nobody cannot have an apartment of their own, living basically alone in a 1 or a 2.5, if you will, or a small studio, if you don't have a good salary, or it's kind of hard. Someone on welfare nowadays cannot afford themselves even a studio in Montreal. Studios are about $1,100, and that's just for a one apartment studio, right? Like the one I have.
Yes.
So with $800 or $900 on the basic incomes from the welfare, you don't go anywhere with that. So you need to live with some people, have some roommates around, and yeah. So I'm right now on Emily Gamlin's Park. So as you can see, this is something that comes around every year. They have some shows on that in this park, right? You got
and in case people haven't clued in, but Dragons in Montreal, just we didn't seed that up, so just people understand. And this is a festival that's happening down there tonight. And
well,
again,
this is
Dragon,
not,
what's the
well, this
festival?
Is not, this one is not part of the Francophonie, but it's it's the Emily Gamlin Garden, where there's a lot of shows every year. New artists who comes around to make themselves a name. So you can find some nice new artists around here. But if you can look at the back of the scene right here, okay, you got a big park around here. There's kids playing around. There's a lot of things that you can spot probably on the first sight. But if I go a little bit more in in that direction here, this is where things kind of sometimes looks more like of a dumb city sometimes. Right now, you don't see them. There's no tent. Probably the cops have done something to remove them. But normally around here, you got a lot of dealers. You got a lot of people who's using drugs around here, where there's children, where there's, you know, beautiful restaurant around here where people can enjoy themselves if not being disturbed by drug addiction and homelessness. And to be quite frank, sometimes homeless here are pretty disrespectful. For example, the other day I was biking on my bike. I was having a little bit of a hard time to breathe, so I had some stuff, you know, in my throat that I needed to throw away. But the guy was far away from me. And still, if I'm just sitting right here next to me, and the guy is like around some corner around there, they look at you and like, you're a fucking disgusting, blah, 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 and you're spitting around me just next to me. And the guy is like clearly 5 feet away from me, so I'm not clearly next to him. But they go like being disrespectful. And I mean, sometimes when you don't give them a little bit of money, they will, you know, basically tell you to F off, kind of thing. So yeah, it's kind of a dangerous place sometimes to be in St. Catherine Street, from some, because St. Catherine Street is very long street. It's probably like almost the whole surface of Montreal from one side to the other. But yeah, there's a lot of homelessness in one part of that city, in that part of the street. And there's a lot of, I mean, look, there's a guy right here. I'm gonna show you that. He's sleeping on the sidewalk, or laying on the sidewalk, right here. And you can see that pretty often. Around here,
turn the camera so we can get a better look at that dragon.
I don't know if he's working but there's a lot of people, you know, sometimes laying around like this, right here. So yeah, I mean, you can
just right there, you know.
I can walk right there on the street, and you can see, yeah, right there on the sidewalk, people laying down, probably on the front door of a store, or even sometimes abandoned store. They are just laying down in front of the porch, if you will, and using that little corner, if you will, to get something under their head, even though it's nothing. So see, right here, there's a lot of homeless sometimes gathering around here. Today it's looked pretty clean. It's more like people who's enjoying the show, but in this part of the park, normally there's a lot of homeless in the middle of the day. Because, for example, if you go down that street, okay, this is the shelter where I came from, Maison du Père. So it's really close. So at 6 o'clock, you got to get up. At 7 o'clock, you go there to you get a meal for 7 o'clock in the morning. So you got a breakfast, and around 8 o'clock, they throw everyone around out to be, you know, to take care of the place. The cleaning staff will do the cleaning of the sheet and the beds and so on. Prepare what's going to be prepared for the guys to come back around 2 o'clock in the middle of the day. So this is where you put your name on the list to probably get a room for the night. And from that moment, when you get inside the shelter, there's no way out for the rest of the day. So basically, you're inside that place till the next morning. And it's, yeah. So people, you know, use drug in those environments sometimes, even though if shelters try not to well, they do something about it, but it's kind of hard to sometimes to be able to address to everyone.
Yeah.
Because there's like 200, 300 people inside the shelter each and every day that comes in because they don't have any place to sleep. So that's a big problem.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to share this with us tonight and give us a firsthand look at what it's really like there and in a bigger city, Montreal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you know, Montreal is my city. I love it, even though sometimes there's there's things that I dislike from my little city, but my city is still my city, and I love it. But there's a problem that I will like to address is that our mayor, Valérie Plante, is not really doing things properly sometimes. There's things that I would like to address, like, for example, the homelessness problem, and also the street, the way they will use the funding for taking care of the infrastructure is not really well versed. So divest more. Oh, that's
Okay.
that's one thing that I hear a lot. Invest.
So, Dragon in Montreal tonight, sir. Is there anything else you would like to add or think that we might need to know before we wrap up with you here?
Actually, one thing, yes. I'm trying to get a hold of the Jewish community of Montreal so I can ask them some question and see what is their point of view with the whole situation with the Palestinian and geopolitically speaking abroad. So
Yep.
it's going to be a beautiful conversation if I get one to speak with. And I'll be eager to show you that, everyone. So you can follow me on the One Rising Dragon on Facebook. It's Dragon. So I hope you enjoyed.
All right. Thank you, Dragon. Montreal. Sir.
Take care, guys.
Good night. Thank you. And there he is, out of the lair, the dragon's lair, and out onto the street in Montreal. I shall return. And when we come back on the other side, we're going to get an update on that Edmonton Oilers hockey game. Don't go away.
The New World Order. Government overreach. The Great Reset. Mainstream media lies. Now more than ever, independent voices are needed. Donate now at freedomreporters.com. That's freedomreporters.com. Maverick News. The antivirus program for your mind.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, so the Edmonton Oilers, Florida Panthers, the game is underway, I guess, and we will be going to John Scotty Rimby out in Western Canada very, very soon, shortly, in a few minutes. But before we get to that, since the game is just getting underway, oh, I should show you this, just to show you. I think I have it here. One moment. Do I have it? Thought I did. Here we go. Okay, this is what it looks like outside the arena in Edmonton. This is what it was like just before game time. So Canadian. Driving this down the street. What else? A Zamboni. Yeah, somebody wants the cup in the worst way. But we'll come back to what's going on with that game in a few minutes. Before we do that, though, going to take you to Ottawa for this news conference with what they're saying are representatives of the Freedom Convoy, but it's really, I think, some people from the Freedom Movement. Neil, who helped organize the Rolling Thunder events over the past couple of years, coming back this weekend with another Rolling Thunder event, talking about that at this news conference and a lot of other things, political things. And we'll pick that up for you here now. One moment, please. Getting us queued. Here we go. Off to Ottawa on this news conference now. This is what they had to say.
Good afternoon, everyone. Fellow Canadians, our beloved nation stands at a crossroad where the very fabric of our democracy is being tested. This isn't about politics. It's about the values that unite us as the people. The values of fairness, opportunity, and a future where Canadians can thrive. Today, many of us face daunting challenges: skyrocketing costs of living, unaffordable housing, and a pressing need for environmental stewardship. These issues affect us all, regardless of your political beliefs or backgrounds. They touch the single parent working multiple jobs, the young family struggling to make ends meet, and the new immigrant dreaming of a better life in Canada. In the wake of Bill C-65 being hastily passed on June 19th, 2024, we face a stark reality. While Canadians grapple with soaring living costs and economic uncertainty, our government has maneuvered to push back the 2025 election to October 27th from its original date. This strategic move ensures that over 80 MPs will qualify for enhanced pensions, a decision that prioritizes political expediency over the urgent needs of citizens. As families across our nation struggle to make ends meet, this decision is a stark reminder of the disconnect between those in power and the everyday challenges faced by Canadians. Petition E-5024 is our chance to make a stand, not against each other, but for each other. It calls for a vote of no confidence in our current leadership, a decisive step towards ensuring that our voices, your voice, is heard in the corridors of power. This isn't just another petition. It's a symbol of our commitment to a fairer, more inclusive Canada. By signing 5024, you're not just expressing dissatisfaction, you're demanding accountability, transparency, and a government that works for all Canadians. Recent times have revealed troubling instances of scandal and deceit within our government, eroding public trust and confidence. These issues impact us all, diverting attention and resources away from the urgent needs of everyday Canadians. My friend and I have both felt the weight of these challenges in our own lives. She shared her story with me, one of juggling multiple jobs just to make ends meet. Her determination to support this petition comes from a place of deep personal experience and a desire for a better future for us all. In a recent statement, Justin Trudeau had said, Canadians aren't ready for an election. However, according to Abacus data, the Liberals are polling at only 24%, significantly trailing behind other parties. Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party continue to be brought forward on several ongoing ethics investigations and concerns. And Canadians have lost confidence and trust in Justin Trudeau and the Liberal NDP government's ability to govern Canada responsibly and to show equality to all Canadians. Petition E5024 is your way to tell them just how ready you are for an election. This ends when the people say it does. Let's show the world what democracy truly means. Together, united, and unwavering in our belief that every voice counts. Spread the word, share this petition in your communities, workplaces, and social circles. Let's ignite a movement that transcends political divides and champions the values that define us as Canadians. Join us in signing petition E5024 today. Let's safeguard our democracy and build a future where every Canadian can thrive. Together, we are stronger. Thank you. Neil?
And here's Neil to talk about Rolling Thunder.
Hi, my name is Neil Sheard. I organized the original Rolling Thunder 2022. And a friend of mine, Derek Noon, who's supposed to be in here right now, has just been banned. Came down yesterday. Class A. Could be 10 months, could be a year, could be 2 years. His lawyer is being notified right now. I just had to say that because Derek's supposed to be here with us today. The reason I'm here is because we're doing Rolling Thunder Ottawa 2024. It's supposed to be coming in tomorrow, but weather depends. If it gets canceled today, we'll find out. When I first started Rolling Thunder 2022, that was after veterans had been attacked on the monument. They were beaten in the streets, handcuffed, and thrown out of the city. No charges. They're basically kidnapped after being beaten and left out of the city. So we decided, wasn't just me, it was my idea, but a lot of veterans, and I'm not speaking for all veterans. I'm not speaking for all veterans. I'm speaking for the veterans that were there. We gave back that monument its dignity. And I know there was a lot of times where we were fighting with the city saying you're going to be Rolling Thunder, not Rolling Thunder, the Convoy 2.0. You're going to come in and you're going to park your bikes. I'm very sorry, but you don't see a crew cab on the back of a motorcycle. We said we were going to come in, do our monument, say a prayer, lay a wreath, run the bikes, and leave. And that is exactly what we did. Exactly. The city spent $3 million, 800 police officers to guard our motorcycle ride. 3 people were arrested. 1, there was no violence. And I think 2 of them were done for breach because they weren't allowed in the city because they got arrested during the convoy. $3 million, 800 police officers for a peaceful motorcycle ride to give back dignity to our war memorial. Last year, I said we're coming back in. All I want to do is just ride around, no speeches. We gave dignity to the monument the year before. We just want to ride around the monument, rev our bikes, and salute the men and women that gave their lives for this country. The city said no. We will give you one street closer. They gave us Albert Street, which they should have done last year, or the year before, but they turned it to Slater. So they gave us Albert Street. And they said, well, if you play by our rules, we'll let you have maybe a little bit closer. And I was thinking to myself, I'm going to be 75 years old by the time I roll around that monument. This year, I said, okay, tell you what, we played by your rules last year. Give us Queen. They said no. They'll give us exactly the same route as last year. We turn it Albert. I want to know who's making these decisions. We've done exactly what we have said we did. We did exactly what we said we are planning on doing every year. Are they still that hurt? Motorcycles are not going to stop in this city and stay for weeks. It's a big, loud motorcycle. Come in, salute the monument, leave the city, and go off and have a barbecue. But somebody in this city hall, or maybe in the government here, honestly, I'd like to know who's in charge. Seriously. And it's not just me. Canadians want to know who's in charge of our government. Because scandals coming out that we have traitors in our government colluding with China, India. Me, as a soldier, if I'd have been charged with treason, my life would be over. It'd be in the papers. If one of these reporters in here were charged with treason, your name would be out there. But as a veteran, as a soldier, if that happened to me, my life would be over. But if you're a politician, ooh, that's even worse. Because if one of these politicians has access to our state secrets, who are they? Canadians want to know. Would somebody have to do with the Winnipeg lab? Anybody? We need to know. We need to know as Canadians, if we're going to go to the polls, are we going to be voting for someone who's in the pocket of China, India? And honestly, doesn't matter if you're liberal, conservative, NDP, Bloc, the Green, your name should come out. If you get charged, we have the information. We will see you in court. Prove yourself innocent. That's the way it works in our country. If you get charged, you have to go to court to prove yourself innocent. Then you run for office.
And that's not quite accurate, but
as you can
okay.
see, I don't have a speech. This comes off the top of my head. This all comes from the heart.
Backwards.
And who else runs our country? 2017, Klaus Schwab said he has penetrated our cabinet with more than 50% of the cabinet are young global leaders. Our deputy prime minister is on the board of the World Economic Forum. She is also very, very good friends with George Soros. Before she came into politics, she had a book deal, but then she came into politics. She would have dinner with George Soros. Who's running our country? So Rolling Thunder is there to salute the men and women that gave their lives to defend this country from what is happening now. They fought against tyrants. They fought against dictators. They gave their lives willingly. And that's why we're going back into that monument. Something else is You know who politicians are afraid of? They're afraid of three things. I mean, they are terrified. They're terrified of a free vote. They're terrified of free speech. And up until about 10 years ago, they're terrified of you. And you, the media. Now I got a question for the media out there. All you media out there. You don't have to answer this. Why did you become a journalist? Curiosity, want to know the truth? Because I remember back in the day, up about 10 years ago, if you have a problem with, say, a business or a politician or the law or something you couldn't figure out for yourself, the last resort was, I'm going to the press because you guys were the ones that would find the truth. Politicians aren't afraid of you anymore. And it's not just Canada. They're not afraid of the press anymore. Pretty much, that's all I got to say. But remember one thing, folks. God loves every single one of you. And he has a plan for every single one of you. You'll find it. It'll be there. If you don't believe in God, you'll be judged. Thank you very much. Neil Sheard. Rolling Thunder should be tomorrow. If not, it will be on July 6th. Thank you very much.
Can you clarify why Derek Noonan isn't here? Was he trespassed from?
He's not been trespassed.
So what's preventing him from?
He's trying to find out. He called the sergeant at arms. The sergeant at arms gave him a couple of seconds, then hung up on him. So his lawyer, Derek's lawyer, has been notified.
Okay, thank you.
So what is the plan for tomorrow? Because I'm just trying to get some clarity.
And you are from where?
City News.
Okay.
Because you had mentioned that the city said you're going to stay on Albert this year. You don't want to do that, obviously, understandable reasons. So what is it? Are you going to follow what they said, or are you going to go around the monument anyway? Like, what's the plan?
Rules of the road. And they said that we could, next year, as in this year, we should get a little closer. You play the game, you get a little bit closer. And I thought, okay, well, last year we turned it Albert. I said, can we turn it Queen? Nope, can't do it. So I'd like to know who is keeping this exclusion zone going. Could you find that out?
What is the plan going forward for like the broader convoy movement? Because I remember 2 years ago,
convoy? It's never been a convoy. Convoy is big trucks.
No, I get what you mean, but I'm just trying to say.
That's just it. The first year it said Rolling Thunder Convoy. Convoy means trucks. And the media kept pushing convoy. And everybody thinks convoy, oh my God, sorry, folks. Oh my Lord, the trucks are coming back. Carry on.
Okay, so broader movement.
Yep.
Okay, what is the plan going forward exactly? Because I'm just trying to, like 2 years ago when there was Rolling Thunder and when there was the anti-vaccine mandate protests on the Hill, I don't want to say you guys because I don't know necessarily how involved either of you were or weren't in that. Did your own newsers, did your own communications, pretty effective at getting the message out. Now you're coming through the press gallery. Is this an attempt to try and apply more political pressure? Like what is the plan going forward? Because I'm just trying to suss this out.
Okay, well, Derek asked me if I'd like to come over and speak because he knows that Rolling Thunder is near and dear to my heart, and it should be to Canadians, about the fact that veterans and motorcycles just want to drive around and let people know this is happening. There's no... That rant I went on about the government, right? That's why we have 5024. But from now on, okay, Rolling Thunder is supposed to come in from Antrim, come up. I was supposed to go around the monument, or we were supposed to go, but we turn at Albert, rev our bikes, salute that monument, get back on the 417, out of town, go to a barbecue. That's it. Every single year from now on. That's what it's supposed to be. Have you ever heard of Rolling Thunder in the United States, where they leave D.C.? They go by they're in Washington, D.C.? Heard about that?
I have not.
Okay, you might want to look it up. And what it is, it's veterans and patriots who support their veterans that have died. Big monster rally. Thousands and thousands and thousands of bikes showed up. And I would like to see something like that in our country. That's where it comes from. Rolling Thunder, that's what they call it. I call it Rolling Thunder Ottawa, because that's where our monument is.
I've had my two. Can I keep? All right. So what is the plan with the petition? Because every time we get a petition that has a lot of signatures that goes to the government, they write some blank statement saying, yeah, we hear you, and at the end,
be on your way. Be on your way, plebs, right?
So what is the plan here? Because, yeah, please.
So, sorry, your question is?
What is the ideal plan for the petition? Because every time a petition goes to the government and it has something to do with something they really don't want to do, even if it has a lot of signatures on it, they write this blank statement about, we hear you, we'll look into it, thanks for writing. If that happens again, like, what is the plan going forward? What is the objective going forward?
So are you referring to the past petition, E4701? It was the highest signed petition. Yes. So if that's the one you're speaking to, I was also the author of that petition as well. Right. So it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It brought awareness across the country. It united Canadians together on a common issue. It did exactly, it was read in the House. The voices of Canadians were heard. Yes, we did get a response from the Liberal Party through Jennifer O'Connell. No, we didn't like the response. The response pretty much told us, we had exercised our democratic rights in the 44th general election, and that Canadians would have to wait until the 45th election. So the purpose of 5024 is, again, to have your voices heard in the House of Commons. It's to ensure that our politicians are hearing us, that they're listening. Again, there's been the rules. They don't have to do what we've asked, and we were well aware of that. But forever, now in eternity, these voices of every Canadian that signed that petition will ring through the halls of these buildings. And that's a big deal to people. That's a big deal for Canada. It's, again, to bring awareness to the situation on hand. It's to unite Canada once again. It's to get that message out. You're not hearing us. We need you to listen. And if 347,847 signatures wasn't enough for you, then we'll bring you millions. And will that be enough? If they can move our election a week later, they sure as heck can move it a week forward. We've never, ever moved our election for this recognition day, ever, in 44 elections. Why now? Well, we know why. 80 plus MPs are about to lose their pensions. And I don't know about any of you, but the reality of real life is if I do a bad job, if I don't do my job correctly, and I get fired, I don't get the perks of that company. So if they're concerned about losing their riding, then maybe they should have been concerned about what their constituents were asking of them. Then maybe they should have done their job.
Do you got another? Or? Okay. So we know some members of the official opposition have been receptive to your message, and certainly they would love to see an election much sooner rather than later. Have you tried like applying pressure? Because, like, to be blunt, everyone knows if the NDP pulls the rug out from under the Liberals, we go to an election. Have you tried to apply pressure to NDP MPs saying, like, hey,
Sure.
you know, like, people don't like this guy, right?
Sure. We have had several campaigns of people calling, emailing, letter campaigns. I personally have called several NDP MPs asking to have a sit down and an open conversation and dialogue discussing the issues that are facing Canadians right now. And I have not received an email back, no phone call back, no nothing. They will not respond. And that's alarming. That's alarming. I mean, your job is to listen and have your doors open to Canadians and to your constituents. And when you're closing the door and locking them when they approach your building or when they phone or email, you're just blatantly ignoring Canadians. That's a big problem and a big red flag for the rest of the country. And so it should be.
Have you had any meetings with any MPs from any parties?
Yes, I have with, my own MP, Michelle Ferreri. I have spoken to Larry Brock. Again, I work within, the realm of, I go through my MP, which is Michelle Ferreri. I'm from Peterborough, Kawartha, and she's my MP. I spoke with Larry Brock in his office regarding the carbon tax election. He was very receptive of talking to people. Yeah, I know that Miss Lynn Brooks, who also was not allowed inside today, she has made appointments and spoken to several Conservative MPs that they've opened their doors and welcomed her to have a conversation, and several other people. So we don't seem to be having a problem with communication with the Conservatives. We seem to be being roadblocked in communication with the NDP party and the Liberal Party.
Could I get your name?
My name's Melissa Outwater.
Okay, thank you, because there were a few names on the notice. I wasn't sure who you were. And I hate to ask this, but I'm sure you've seen by now, there's a video of somebody spitting on Marco Mendicino on Spark Street yesterday. I have to ask, I don't like to ask, but was that anyone affiliated with anybody that you guys know or anything like that?
I'm unaware of that incident. I didn't arrive to Ottawa until this morning, so I'm sorry I can't answer that for you.
Neil?
No, I didn't even know it happened.
Okay.
And I mean, just to be very clear, that is not something that any one of us condone. We don't condone that behavior from anybody. So, to whoever did that, please, let's be a little bit more respectful and a little bit more Canadian.
He did apologize.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good.
Is that it?
I think that's it, yeah.
Okay, let's take a little break and then we'll find out what the heck's going on. Hang on.
All of you that are watching here, why did you become a journalist?
He's talking to reporters.
Put that in your mind and think about why you became a journalist. And on that, I'd like to say thank you very much, and God bless, and have a wonderful weekend. And I hope it doesn't rain tomorrow. Thank you very much.
And apparently the event has been rescheduled for July 6th. Apparently because of weather, maybe for other reasons, but that is the word we're getting tonight. So now you know, and I will be right back.
Someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching.
The world is watching. On TV, the entire world is watching. On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
Okay, let's make the call, shall we? Here we go. Dialing. We're dialing.
Rick, how you doing?
I'm just fine, John. We had to check in with our Hockey Night in Canada Edmonton Oilers super duper Maverick sports correspondent. What's going on with that hockey game?
Wow! Welcome. Well, it's 1-0. Edmonton is leading. It's a nail biter.
And did you witness this goal?
I'm sorry, what is that, Rick?
Did you see the goal happen?
I did. It's awesome.
Okay, give us the play-by-play, the replay, just like a super Hockey Night in Canada sportscaster.
Well, Stuart Skinner, he is our hometown boy, Edmonton. Incredible hockey player, goalie. And he saves all our goals. He's awesome. It's a nail biter. It's just unbelievable. Edmonton is up 1-0, but it changes in like every 29 seconds. Like it's just going. We're praying for Edmonton. Guys.
Do or die tonight. Do or die.
Well, and let's give the Florida Panthers a little credit. They are full board. They're an awesome team. Awesome. For Edmonton to come back from nothing in the whole league, they were out. They come back. They're comeback kids. And to come back and to be in the Stanley Cup playoffs is unbelievable. This is such an exciting series. It's a nail biter. And It changes every 20 minutes. And Rick, I gotta say, I'm not gonna have a final thought. Don Cherry, you people. Yes, yeah. We're coming back. Love you, Don Cherry. He's like, what, 88 now? 89?
I don't know. He's getting up there.
You people, we love Don Cherry, the Canadian hockey guy,
Okay, well, I'm going to hang up. We'll check back in with you in a few minutes.
Okay, cheers.
All right, if they score again, you phone here. Because we need to know immediately.
Rick, your phone's going to ring off the hook tonight there, sir. Okay. Ring off the hook.
We're
8-1, 9-1, 10-1.
We're on the edge of our seats. We're on the edge of our seats. Okay.
Go,
okay. All right. Keep us posted. We'll check back in with you.
Love you, Maverick News family. May God bless you.
Ciao for now.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we'll check back in with John shortly. You know who else we're going to check in on? Vladimir Putin. He says that the West seems to want to destroy Russia. He says that, quote, we have noticed that they are ramping up the situation and escalating all the time, probably expecting us to get scared at some point. That's how this clip begins. Let me play the video of Vladimir Putin that's going viral today around the world. Here he is. And here's Putin.
Indeed, we have been noticing that they are ramping up this situation, escalating all the time. They probably expect us at some point to get scared or something. But at the same time, they're saying that they would like to see a strategic defeat of Russia on the battlefield. Now, what does that mean for Russia? For Russia, that means that its statehood will cease to exist. It would mean that our 1,000-year-long history will be over. This is unacceptable. Now, if that is the threat, what is the point of being scared? We just need to follow through with what we are doing. This is the rationale that I've been using all this time, and I have studied logics in my university, so I know how it works. And people who think like that against us, scheming against us, they are making a grave mistake, like I said.
Vladimir Putin. And meanwhile, Trump had this strange interview. I think it's strange, talking about the CIA probably being behind the assassination of JFK. Now, Trump said before that when he was president, he would release all of the JFK files. Then he got into office and he didn't do it. He released some, not all. Seems to me he's had access and knows everything. And then he sits there in this interview and says, it's probably the CIA. Why do I feel like he's playing games? And then he says in this interview that if he gets reelected, he will immediately release all the rest of the documents that he didn't before, but says he really will this time. I don't know if we should believe him or not, but that's what he says. So I believe the live stream that he was on, some YouTube podcast thing it's called All In. I've never seen it before, but here he is. This is the clip.
When you got elected in the 2016 election, you said the first thing or one of the things you wanted to do was release the JFK file. And then you said later, I saw it and I wasn't really ready to do it. And then I saw a clip where you changed your mind and you said, I think we're ready to see this file. And I'm just curious.
What's in it?
What? No,
Tell us right now.
What happened? Like what? Yeah.
I actually did do it. I released a lot, as you know. But when it came to the whole thing, I was hit by some people that worked for me that are great people that you would respect. And they asked me not to do it. And I'm saying, why? Tell me why. And they said, sir, I think it needs a little more time. And I released a lot, but I said, if they feel so strongly, I respect the people and would have done that again. But this time, I'm just going to do it.
RFK says the CIA killed his uncle. Do you believe that?
Well, this wasn't CIA that asked me, but I think CIA was probably behind it. But they didn't. They would have preferred that I not release the rest of it. So we did give quite a bit. It's going to be done early on. A lot of people want to see that. And whatever it may say, I won't say. I sort of have an idea. But whatever it is, it'll be very interesting for people to see. And we're going to have to learn from it.
Why not just release it then? And it just, this coy language, it just, I don't know, bothers me, man. So I guess there's a mob leader out in New York City. His name is Tony Cakes. That's what everybody knows him as. His real name, Anthony Canigliaro, 86 years old. He's alleged to be a former Genovese crime family captain. And he was apparently decapitated today by a New York City Department of Transportation truck in New York City, in Brooklyn. So Tanigliaro lived in Bay Ridge. He was at a crosswalk. And I mean, I've got video. I'm not going to run it because his head was literally severed from his body and it was laying in the middle of the street. And it's digitized, but I'm still not going to run it. Wow. Amazing. What do you make of that? Like, I've covered a few things like that where people have literally been decapitated. This one seems very strange, though, given that it's an alleged mob leader. Kind of weird. But hey, in today's world, I guess it's just sort of par for the course. Wow. Then we're talking about crime. As I scroll through today, I'm seeing all kinds of crime out of New York, but I guess in a big city like that, it's almost just par for the course on a day-to-day basis, right? I know that they held a big protest today, or not a big protest, but a protest on the RFK side. They were, let Bobby debate, let Bobby debate. Let me see if I can find you the video of that. Yeah, here's some footage of the demonstration. This was outside CNN New York City headquarters. Here, let me show you. And then I'm going to show you what Trump had to say about this today. And here we go.
Don't be weak, RFK. CNN.
He failed to qualify for the debate. I think one of the main things areas where he fell short was he didn't poll at least 15%, and I think it was three out of 4 polls or something like that. There was one poll where he didn't hit the 15% threshold, so that alone means he didn't qualify. But I think there were other things as well in the rules that they set up where he did not meet the threshold. Trump responding, saying, hey, bring it on. He'd like to debate Kennedy. True or not true, I don't know. But it doesn't look like he's going to be on that debate stage at this first debate. It's going to be Trump versus Biden, head-to-head, mano a mano. Here's Trump in the lap of luxury with this statement.
I know that RFK Jr. wants to try and get onto the stage on Thursday, and I'd love to have him, frankly, because I don't think he's much of a debater. And he's got some very liberal, radical left ideas. But I would love to have him, but you have to get certain numbers. That was the criteria, and he's way below those numbers. He's not coming close. So I hope to see him up there someday, but it looks to me like he's not going to qualify on many fronts. But he'll be there, and, they say he hurts Biden more than he hurts me. I don't know if that's true or not, but they say he hurts Biden because he's a serious left person. And you know what? If he is, that's good. I don't really care. I'm going to Cleveland. It looks like we're doing great in Ohio. We're doing great in just about every state we're in. Every poll number that's coming in is looking good. We're leading just about every poll on a national basis, also on a swing state basis. And I look forward to Thursday night. It'll be great. And again, I saw RFK Jr., nice guy. I hope he can debate because I really think it would be a good thing to have him up there. I'd love to have him up there, but you have to do better than 6 or 7 points, like by about triple. And maybe someday he'll be there, but I sort of doubt it. Thank you.
And there was Trump's response. What else do we have for you this evening? Update on that school bus crash out in British Columbia. Police confirming that a pedestrian was struck in that accident and was killed on Highway 97 in the BC interior. This happened earlier this afternoon. So this was a school bus transporting children from 100 Mile Elementary and Horse Lake Elementary. It crashed near Lac La Hache around 1 p.m. BC Highway patrols say there was then another collision on the highway. This additional collision involved a pedestrian who died. They tried to administer aid on the scene. Paramedics were there working on this person, but they say the pedestrian did die at the scene. No other information about the deceased available at this time. No names released. More than a dozen ground ambulances. And I think there were, how many did I say earlier? A bunch of air ambulances, helicopters deployed to the scene, along with fire crews, other first responders. We still don't know exactly in terms of numbers how many people were hurt. Police saying only that numerous people from the bus have been taken to hospital. Their injuries are described as varying. And we know that the bus was carrying more than 30 students and staff from School District 27. Obviously, a huge source of worry tonight for parents who have been told to go to the South Caribou Recreation Center at 100 Mile House, which is being used as what they're calling a reunification site. Police on scene there, providing updates to parents, and I guess the students will be brought there and then reunited with their parents. No other indication of, this is very good news, I would say at this point, no other indication of any additional deaths. The extent of the injuries, on the other hand, we still don't know. We just don't have any other information. This is the most current information that we have thus far at this point tonight from RCMP out in that area of British Columbia. It did close, this crash closed Highway 97 near the Butler Road intersection for several hours. And then 100 Mile House RCMP asked drivers to avoid that area, asked them not to go to the accident scene. They still don't want people out there. So if you're watching this broadcast, police are urging you, asking you to steer clear. Do not go there. You'll just contribute to the congestion, the problem, and you won't get in there anyway. They won't allow anyone in there to have access because they still have crews out in the middle of the highway trying to clean things up and keep people safe. Now, also tonight, the Ontario Science Centre, I went there several times as a kid, is shutting down immediately. This because the roof is in danger of collapsing. Now, the government announced in 2023 that they were going to move the Ontario Science Centre, huge tourist attraction in the Toronto area, and it's going to be moved over to the Ontario Place site because they said it would save costs, but now they've shut it down immediately, and this is because the roof is under stress. They've had engineers assess the roof of this building. They say it is in a state of distressed high risk, not in good condition. This from the Ministry of Infrastructure, and they say that these roof panels that are distressed need to be fixed immediately in order to avoid further stress this winter. Once snow piles up on top, they say that the entire roof could fail, that it could collapse. That's how serious the situation is. Total cost to repair the roof estimated at between $22 and $40 million. So yeah, when did that place open? I'm not sure. That was in the 60s. I don't know. It's I can't remember. I remember it was fairly new when I went there as a kid in the 1970s. I'm just going to Google that. When did the Ontario Science Center open. September 26th, 1969. Oh, and let's see if we can find some video. This was the big thing. Everybody wanted to see this. I hope that we've got video of it. Here it is. Everybody loves this. The hair thing. The big steel ball that they electrify, and they use static electricity, and it makes your hair stand on end. I mean, it's just the stupidest, craziest thing, but here's a kid doing it. Here's a video of it. I'm sure that you've all seen this. Maybe our American friends haven't, but this was the big attraction. This is why everybody went to see it.
Shake, shake, shake. Up, down, left, and right. Looking good. And it doesn't take much. Stop shaking. It looks like a wig. Hold on, I'll give you a couple more puffs of pell here because your hair's coming back down. So you want to make sure your hair, so keep your hand on the ball. We'll make sure your hair stays up. Okay. Boom. All right. Thank you. And take a second down. There you are. And thank you again for joining me for today's 12 o'clock electricity show. If you're in this area, you happen to miss the show, that's A-okay. We have another show coming up at 3 p.m. Thank you very much for joining me.
Mad science. Oh, yeah, when I was a kid, actually, they had a whole program. I don't know if you guys had this when you were a kid. I don't know if they still do this or not, but they actually, I said mad science, they had this traveling road show that went around to schools to teach kids about science. And it was like a show, but it was kind of like that. I don't think it was the Ontario Science Center that did it. Maybe it was. I don't know. It was so long ago. It was just a kid, but it was so entertaining. And they would come in and they'd go into the auditorium. All the several different grades would go down, and they'd put on a whole show teaching about, chemistry, physics, things like electricity, and they would do it at the different schools, and they called it mad science. It was pretty cool. Of course, these days they're less worried about math and reading and science, and they're way more worried about cultural engineering. There's the problem. Indeed, right? Let's call John back and find out what the heck is going on. I hope they fix the Ontario Science Center up, move it, get it back in, whatever they're going to do, because it's great for kids. It's a great place to take kids, and they learn so much, and it is a tourist attraction, and it is a treasure, and government run, but it's one of the few things the government has ever done that I think was maybe worthwhile. So the Ontario Science Center, yeah, I'd hate to see that go. Okay, let's call John. Here we go. I don't think we've had any other calls. He hasn't called yet, but we'll check in. Come on, John, pick up. We need to know. Inquiring minds need to know. John? John?
John Scott.
Oh, he'll call us back. What's he doing there? I have no idea. What's the score? Anybody know the score? Somebody's got to know the score. What's going on with that Game 6? Oilers, Panthers. Let me check over on the Rumble channel. Anybody got the score? I'll Google it. Oh, yeah, see, 2-0 Edmonton. 2-0 now. 2-0. Come on, John. You're supposed to call us if there was a goal. Wow. So, yeah, in the first minute of the second period, Adam Henrique scores 46 seconds in to make it 2-0. Alexander Barkov scores 10 seconds later for Florida. Oilers challenge for offsides. Barkov's goal is called off. Whoa! Seems like one heck of a game. I don't know if I can show this. It's probably all copyrighted. Let me just, I'm going to bring it up and see what we got going on here. I bet you we can't show it. I'll just show you this. See, I saw this. There's the video. I dare not run it. I'll get nailed. Copyright. But so it looks like one heck of a game. So what are we seeing over there? You've got Oilers scoring with, I think, the first few minutes, like what, first 8 minutes or something. Then in the first minute of the second period, we get Edmonton scoring again. 46 seconds into the second period. Bam! Goal! He shoots, he scores! And then Alexander Barkov scores 10 seconds later for Florida. Just 10 seconds. Face off and bam! Florida scores. But Oilers challenged it. It was offside. So the Florida goal was disqualified, called off. Wow, would have been 2-1, but it's still 2-0. So that's what's going on in the Edmonton game right now in real time. And that gets us to the end of our broadcast here. So, folks, I'm going to wrap up for tonight. I'm going to free you guys up to go watch the rest of that hockey game if you would like to do that. I appreciate you guys sticking around and hanging out with me and the whole Maverick family here. Just before we go, a reminder that if you want to support the work we're doing here, if you like what I did today and down with the mini tent city in my hometown, and I'm going to do some more work on that, and I think I'm going to go pay a visit in a couple of these other cities around here too to show you guys what's going on. But if you're inclined to support our work here, you can donate at maverickdonations.com. You can also support us at freedomreporters.com. If you donate $30 or more, I can send you a t-shirt. If you donate $60 or more, I can send you a Maverick News shirt like this one, embroidered with the Maverick News logo on it. Happy to do that. Plus, with the embroidered shirts, I will send you a complimentary bonus 1/64th scale die-cast Hot Wheels collectible. Batmobile. Who doesn't want a Batmobile? So that would be a little bonus for you. And just tell me what size you need in the comment section when you donate, and I'll be happy to send that along. Please like, share, subscribe. And Brendan, I'm sorry. You keep telling me I got to ask people to give us the thumbs up. If you haven't, hit the thumbs up. Please consider doing that. It doesn't cost you anything. Just hit the thumbs up in YouTube and over on Rumble. Give us the thumbs up. I asked for 100 thumbs up the other night, and the one night we got to the 150 or something like that. So that wasn't so bad. That was pretty encouraging. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. But yeah, like, share, subscribe over on Rumble. I'll tell you this too. We had we got that 7-day ban on a couple of our YouTube channels for, I didn't want to say it on this channel, for talking about the thingy in the arm or misinformation about medical stuff. Like, the video had nothing to do with it. We didn't even talk about any of that stuff in that video. And yet we got hit with a 7-day ban on 2 channels. Makes no sense. I issued an appeal, just denied. No, you did. No, man, we weren't even talking about it. That's how stupid this stuff is. But if you hit the thumbs up, it'll drive them crazy over at YouTube because it forces them to push us up in the algorithm so that more people will see the videos. So for those of you who have given us thumbs up, thank you. And thank you in advance to those who may still do so in the future. Appreciate it very much. I will be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the flip side.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.